The Hulk is the not-so-secret weapon of the Avengers, someone they can aim at anything that needs a smashing. But it's not always that easy. In 3 of the Hulk's team-up appearances, he spent almost as much time fighting his teammates as the bad guys. But when he does turn that temper towards the bad guys, he goes at them hard. After going down in the first round during Infinity War and refusing to get back up, we'll look at how the Hulk might come back out in Endgame. The Hulk has taken a beating before. He stood toe-to-toe with Abomination in the streets of New York. He's faced his own team twice and fought a hammerless Thor in a gladiator arena, where the Grandmaster had to interfere in the outcome. His loss to Thanos in the opening of Endgame was special, however. And ever since Hulk and Banner were sent to warn the Earth of Thanos' coming, the Hulk has been a no-show. No matter how hard he tried or how mad he got, the Hulk refused the call over and over again. After having to use the Hulkbuster armor to defeat Cull Obsidian, an exhausted Banner tells the Hulk they have a lot to figure out. It turns out that might be the actual solution to their problem. Bruce Banner might not be able to unleash the Hulk anymore, but instead, they might have to cooperate to share custody of their body. With toy and promotional photos all but confirming the presence of Professor Hulk in Endgame, it stands to reason that's what's going to happen. In the comics, Professor Hulk is the result of the Green Savage Hulk, the Grey Hulk, who's a little more lucid but more self-interested, and Bruce Banner. Professor Hulk is essentially the best of both worlds, the brains of Banner and the brawn of the Hulk. The reason Banner might have to cooperate with the Hulk lies not in that beatdown in Infinity War, but in Thor Ragnarok. While Thor's name was on the marquee, Ragnarok served as much as a Hulk film as it did a Thor film. The 2 powerhouses had sat out the events of Captain America's Civil War that saw their fellow Avengers with some new faces fighting each other over some new rules. Now they got to have an adventure of their own. Thor's story about the end of his land took a side trip into the comic book arc of Planet Hulk. In that storyline, the Hulk found himself exiled by the Illuminati and put on a planet with great gladiator battles well suited for a giant green rage monster. For Thor Ragnarok, the Hulk's exile was voluntary, flying away from the Avengers after the end of Age of Ultron. Somehow he found a wormhole to Sakaar, where Valkyrie was able to recruit him for the games. There isn't a lot of need for a man with 7 PhDs. It was a Hulk-heavy world, so for 2 years the Hulk was at the helm and Bruce wasn't even aware of what he was up to. During that time, the Hulk got a vocabulary that didn't just involve calling things puny, and managed to create a friendship or two, most notably with Valkyrie herself. After fighting Thor in the arena, the God of Thunder and the big guy were able to connect in a way they hadn't when Bruce held the reins. Despite his early antagonism towards Thor, when he realizes that Thor is leaving, Hulk actually goes and stops him. This is a pretty big milestone for the Hulk in the MCU. He's made actual friends. While he's had a rocky relationship with Thor from the beginning, Thor is the only Avenger on his level. This means that when things hit the fan back in Asgard, the Hulk is willing to help out again. Essentially, this means that for the Hulk, there are no more free rides. Being angry isn't enough. If Banner wants the Hulk to do some smashing for him, the Hulk is going to want something out of it. This idea has been suggested by the directors themselves, the Russo brothers. They were dismissing the idea that the Hulk refused to come out because he was afraid, but instead suggested that the Hulk is frustrated with Banner, feeling like he brings the smash and isn't sure what Banner brings to the table. The Hulk will fight for the people he likes, but unfortunately for Banner, he's not one of them. After over 20 movies in 10 years, the Marvel Cinematic Universe has managed to fill itself up with a lot of superheroes. Almost as quickly as they came together, however, they've seen themselves torn apart. We've seen it happen in Captain America: Civil War, and it seems like one of the big themes going into Endgame for the Marvel Cinematic Universe is one of reconciliation. The biggest and most obvious thread of reconciliation is between Steve Rogers and Tony Stark. While the two become friends eventually, they started off at odds. The Boy Scout and the Bad Boy differed on what made the other special, but when the chips were down, they fought the good fight side by side. The rift between Captain America and Iron Man became intractable once Stark found out that Rogers knew it was Bucky who killed his parents. It's that division that puts Earth's mightiest heroes at a disadvantage when the world needed them the most. It's also the one reconciliation that we're looking forward to seeing happen. We've already had a tease of the two shaking hands in the trailers, but we're going to need the whole 3 hours to watch these two bury the hatchet and come together to make the world right again. The Guardians have had their share of rifts, but Gamora and Nebula agreed that their dad was a jerk, and they could be sisters. Rocket agreed that maybe he was a jerk, but his friends were still his friends. That doesn't mean it's smooth sailing for the Guardians, though. With Rocket left alone with Earth's mightiest heroes, we might see enough Captain America rub off on him that he can truly appreciate his teammates. After Gamora was willing to endanger the universe by telling Thanos where the Soul Stone was to save her sister, we haven't got much more of that relationship since Gamora was promptly thrown off a cliff. We may want the sisters to come together again, or we may just want an excuse for Gamora to have to come back. She can come back, right? Bruce Banner and the Hulk have easily had the most contentious relationship. When we first met the Ever Lovin Hulk in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Bruce Banner was doing whatever he could to separate himself from the Beast. It was his efforts to find a way to get rid of the Hulk that ended up bringing him in contact with General Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross, who never managed to bust the Hulk but did play a hand in breaking up the Avengers. That ended with another person trying to replicate the super soldier serum and a lot of car insurance claims in Harlem. When we next met Bruce Banner, he was back in hiding. He was also done fighting the Hulk. When Black Widow came to recruit the Good Doctor, he gave her a list of things he had already tried, including shooting himself, only to have the Hulk spit the bullet back out. While he was still prone to losing control of his temper, he still had a better grip on when he became the big guy. His secret? He was always mad. By the time we saw the Hulk again in Age of Ultron, the team had come up with a mantra that turned the Hulk back into Bruce Banner. Sun's getting real low, big guy. Just in case that didn't work, Tony had built a special suit of armor specifically meant to bring the Hulk down, suggesting that Bruce's hold on the big green guy was less than secure. It turns out Veronica, Tony's Hulk-busting armor, was a prudent investment because the Hulk went on a rampage. This time, however, it was thanks to a little nudge by Wanda Maximoff, the Scarlet Witch. You'd think she would have used that power to have Thanos relive killing Gamora over and over again. It seems like everyone should have gone for the head, huh? This loss of control proves to be the tipping point for Bruce, and the movie ends with the Hulk fleeing in a Quinjet. That's how he ends up on Sakaar with the Hulk in the driver's seat. Over the course of time in the MCU, Bruce Banner has managed to gain and then slowly lose control of the Hulk, making it one of the most contentious relationships. After Hulk refused to come out in Infinity War, it makes Endgame the perfect place to resolve their personal conflict. There have been a few instances in the comics where Bruce has gotten the upper hand in his duel of personalities. There are possibilities for all of these to come into play, but there's likely something that's going to have to happen between Bruce and the Hulk. Making matters worse, there's more than just the big green guy to contend with. That Hulk, the one we know and love, is the Savage Hulk, all rage and all punching. Then there's the Gray Hulk, which we mentioned before. Gray was the intended color of the Hulk, but printing issues forced the change to green. The Gray was reintroduced later with a different personality, an original Hulk who had more of a vocabulary but less of an inclination to help others. While the Hulk isn't getting grayer, he's becoming more like the Gray Hulk. He's less cooperative and only willing to stick his neck out for people he likes. The Hulk we have now is the most like the Gray Hulk the MCU has gotten. These two versions of the Hulk came together with Bruce Banner to create the Professor Hulk for the Marvel Comics. This was done with the help of Doc Samson, literally negotiating a truce between the Gray Hulk, Savage Hulk, and Bruce by using memories of Bruce's mom to convince the three to come together. Doc Samson hasn't been around since the Incredible Hulk, and it doesn't seem likely that he, or Banner's mom for that matter, will be the one to negotiate a truce. The two of them will have to work it out on their own, Gollum and Smeagol style, one body arguing with itself. All signs are pointing to this being a big priority for Bruce Banner, after half of all life was snapped out of existence. He was already frustrated that the Hulk was sitting things out, given that, on Earth, Hulk was the only other entity that truly knew how big a menace Thanos really was. Even knowing what was at stake, the Hulk continued his snit, refusing even another go at the Mad Titan himself. Hulk could have delayed or occupied Cull Obsidian, allowing Strange to avoid capture. He could have held off the Outriders and the Black Order. That thought is likely weighing heavily on the conscience of Bruce Banner. He's more than likely looking for a way to make sure that the Hulk is available when the time comes to give Thanos what he's got coming to him, a beatdown. You took Spider-Man away, you jerk. You deserve it. It's likely that he'll use any method available to him. It's even possible that while Thanos did dust half of their friends, when Bruce Banner says that the Avengers would be going in short-handed, he's referring specifically to the fact that he still can't get the Hulk to come out. This would mean that Bruce's attempts to science the green guy out of hiding haven't turned up satisfactory results. In the comics, whenever Bruce has gotten the upper hand, he's been less than pleased about the circumstances. In order to create a stable and reliable Hulk, it'll have to be the two working hand in hand. While the Hulk won't underestimate Thanos again, with the intellect and assistance of his counterpart, and 7 PhDs, it's likely that Thanos will find himself underestimating the Hulk. That's the how and why of the Hulk and Bruce Banner cooperating in Endgame. Let us know your thoughts in the comments, and while you're down there, why not subscribe to CBR and ring that notification bell? Then we'll cooperate and send the latest videos straight to your inbox. As always, thanks for watching.